I'll just give you basically your thoughts on Tony's talk.
Oh, sorry?
You basically just give your thoughts on Tony's talk.
Well, I think he touched on some. Tony touched on some very important points in his talk about secrecy, about how you try and campaign against secrecy, but in fact the politicians are not in the loop. And so they can't tell you the truth, and they can't get at the truth because of classification of documents and so on. And this is obviously a problem that's beguiled me as well. That in fact our democratic representatives don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and that's been a problem for Tony, and a problem for me, and a problem for many other protesters.
Right, so probably you can relate to probably the government would do what Tony is stating.
I think you've got to be careful when you say the government. I don't think people like Tony Blair necessarily and Gordon Brown are doing this. I think it's people behind the government, what we call the shadow government, and this is a kind of sort of secret group of people who conspire together. Now it's usually people from places like the Bank of England, the arms industry, the oil industry, and the secret societies, of course. And that's how the conspiracy works. Because you've got the Freemasons, you've got the lower grades of the foot soldiers, you can use them and manipulate them to stop, for example, people like Tony and me being heard. I don't know if Tony's had the experience that I've had where you've gone to do meetings, they've been cancelled at the last minute, or you've agreed to do articles which are then pulled at the last minute. That all happens, I believe, because of the network of the secret societies.
Right, well, due to like the black ops that you mentioned, do you think such things are carried out, such as mind control?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've talked about black operations to which I'm a witness. That was MI6 funding Al-Qaeda. I've seen documentaries that show that the technology for mind control exists. If it exists, they're bound to use it. I think obviously there are techniques for dealing with that kind of mind control, but nevertheless I believe it is a fact, and it explains, for example, the assassination or attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan by John Hinckley, and the assassination of John Lennon by that guy Chapman as well. That these appear to be people who had mental problems. They then use mind control on them, and if those guys turn around and say the CIA made me do it, they just say, well look, they're mad, they've been in mental institutions. But I believe they actually got them to go out and carry out those assassinations, or act as patsies in those assassinations, through mind control.
Another question is, with Tony, why do you think that we would be targeting Tony though? Because he's not a person who's in power, is he? Or he could
no. I have a lot of friends now as a result of being the 9/11 Truth movement who are involved in research into UFOs and different life forms and so on. And there are different theories about how certain people here might in some ways be more spiritually gifted, might have some kind of mission almost built into their DNA in some cases. And it seems that they've identified those people who will act as the perhaps leaders, the teachers of the new spiritual awakening. And as a result of identifying those people, they've then got trying to make their lives very difficult. I certainly, from my own experience, know that they will try and make you scared and angry. That gets you vibrating at a lower resonance, so you become less capable of spiritually activating yourself. So I believe that all this anger and fear has a very